I am starting a new little series of videos that I am calling Shop and Unhaul My Bookshelves. Come along and I'll tell you what it's all about. Hello book friends, I'm Jen and welcome to my reading life and welcome to a new little series of videos I'm going to be doing called Shop and Unhaul My Bookshelves. What does this mean exactly? Well, as I've mentioned in some prior videos, I really want to cull out some of the books that are on my unread shelves that I just don't think I want to read either ever or not anytime soon. And particularly if they are books that I know I will be able to get from my library, either in physical book form, on ebook, or audiobook at some point if I ever do want to read them. And I just feel like I want my shelves to be a reflection of where my reading life is at this moment in time. And I want it to have books on there that I am excited to get to. What I'm going to be doing is going shelf by shelf through all of my unread bookshelves. I have 2 bookcases in this room that are similar to this one behind me. I also have 2 partial bookcases out in our loft area, which also have unread books on them. And those are my nonfiction and my middle grade books, and I'll be going through those as well. But we are going to start in here. I'm not sure if I'll get through 1 shelf per video or if I can get through 2. I really would like to get through 2. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of videos, and I'm hoping I can get through this in maybe 5 or 6 sessions. So today my goal is to get through this shelf right here, which you can't really see, and this shelf here. And actually the shelf above this one is just a partial. There's only a few books on here that are unread, plus this one. So then maybe I'll also try to get through this shelf as well. We'll see how long this all takes. I am going to set up the camera. I'm hopefully going to try to get it high enough so that I can stand by the shelves and go through the books while they're on the shelf. I don't really want to pull everything off if I don't have to. So let me get that all set up and then we'll start looking at some of the books on my shelves. And then stay tuned because I would like your help. I am going to hopefully find some books to unhaul off of my shelves, and I'm going to ask you all to give your input and let me know, yes, Jen, this is a book you should get rid of, or no, I think you should keep this book and here's why. So stay tuned to the end of the video for that. But let us just get into the bookshelves. First, I need a fortifying sip of my tea. I am back. This is a new angle, but now you can see these 2 shelves, and I will lower the camera as we get down to this one so that I can hopefully get a little bit closer, but we're going to start up here. Now, all of the books on this half of the shelf are it's mostly Jane Austen and then a few Bronte classics, and also have Middlemarch there. So this is all classics that I have read for the most part. There's a couple of Jane Austen, like her letters, and I have some of her juvenilia that I haven't read yet, but I definitely will be. So not going to talk about those. We're just going to start from this stack and go over to these here. So we're just going to kind of walk through all of the books here. First up is Enchanted Islands. I have talked about this book. I think it was during a Tria chapter, and I did start it and I was really interested in it. So I think this one's going to stay. Letters from Skye. This is an epistolary novel. I think it's obviously set on the Isle of Skye. And this was sent to me by my lovely subscriber, Eileen, and I'm definitely going to read that because I love an epistolary novel. And then I have Louisa May Alcott's Fairy Tales and Fantasy Stories. Now, I actually got this book at Orchard House when I visited there in my late 20s, and so that's a very special book to me. So even though I haven't read it, I won't ever get rid of it because it just has I have fond sentimental attachment to it. Next, I have Quentins by Maeve Binchy, and I'm a little bit torn about this one because I think there are books in this series I need to read first, and I'm going to pull this one out. I know I can get Maeve Binchy from the library. I know that. And I know I want to read the other books that come before Quentins. So this might be one I can unhaul. Okay, I'm going to set this one aside. And then, you know what? Let me pull these two. Okay, so first up I have The Windsor Knot by S.J. Bennett. I've heard really, really conflicting things about this. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna set this one aside too. This one is a possible unhaul as well. Next up I have Florence Adler Swims Forever. And this is a historical fiction set in Atlantic City in 1934. Did I do a chapter? Did I try a chapter of this? I don't think I did. No. I think this might be a good summer read though. Let me know in the comments. Has anyone read this? Is this worth keeping? I'm going to put it back on the shelf, but definitely let me know your thoughts on this one. And then the last three books over here. So I have An Assembly Such as This, which is a novel of Fitzwilliam Darcy, Gentleman by Pamela Aden. And I've had this book for so long. I think I got it on the clearance cart at Half Price Books, probably for $1. And I really should read this. And you know, it is Jane Austen's 250th birthday this year. And I know Jane Austen July is coming up. I don't know what the prompts or anything are going to be, but I definitely think I want to at least give this one a try. Has anyone read this retelling? Let me know if you liked it. I think this might be the start of a series. I think there might be other books, maybe about some of the other like heroes in Austen. I don't know. So let me know if you know anything about that one. But keeping that one. And then this was a complete just cover buy. I found this at a library bookstore. And this is Lament of a Lady Laird by Margot Arnold. It's a Penny Spring and Sir Toby Glendower mystery. And it takes place in Scotland. Oh, I don't know. The first line is, the scene inside the office of the Pitt Rivers Museum of Oxford was a cozily domestic one. I don't know. I think I want to keep this. I love this cover too. So fun. Okay, I think I'm gonna hang on to this one. And then next up I have The Half Crown House by Helen Ashton. And I know I want to read this. I specifically sought this book out last year or the year before? 2023 I got this in November. And this is a story about a house. And I've heard lovely things about it. I think I heard about this on the Tier Books podcast. Simon and Rachel, I believe they did an episode that featured this. And I know I've heard other people that I really know my reading tastes align with have loved this one. So definitely keeping this one. Now we're going to move on to this shelf here. So we'll start on this side. All my books are alphabetical by author. So we are starting at the beginning of the alphabet. Well, we did that up above on the top shelf. Some things are a little bit out of order because I had to stack things that wouldn't fit standing up. So those might be slightly out of alphabetical order, but you get the idea. Okay, so first up is The Corner Shop by Elizabeth Cadell. And I know I want to read this. I actually think I might want to read this pretty soon. I may pull this off and try this out soon. I'm not sure when this is set. For some reason, I just feel like it might be a good spring read. I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna maybe start that one soon. And then I have, this is actually a graphic novel of Jane Eyre, and I love Jane Eyre. And yes, I think I might read this fall. I should have read it after I did my reread of Jane Eyre last fall, but I didn't. But yes, I definitely won't get rid of this because anything to do with Jane Eyre, I am here for that. Then I have The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton, not sure how you say her last name. And this is like an epic Australian novel. And I really, really want to read this. It won the Booker Prize. What year did it win the Booker Prize? Does it say? I'm not sure if it even says. No, it doesn't say. But anyway, I've heard good things. I know it's really long. It might be a good summer project. I might like kind of slow read this over the summer. I don't know why, but I always want to read about Australia in the summertime just because I always think of Australia as being hot. So I know it's not always hot there, but that's just how I picture it. Okay, next up, these two historical fictions. Why is it always historical fiction that just gets me? And I'm just not sure. Like, I like historical fiction, but I think I'm just really picky about it. So I have The Library of Legends by Janie Chang, and it's set in China in 1937. I've had this book on my shelf since 2021, and I haven't been prompted to pick it up. I don't know, again, I feel like this is probably a book I can get from the library pretty easily. This one might need to go. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna set this one aside. And then next up is The Lions of Fifth Avenue by Fiona Davis. This is another book. This is actually about the New York Library, public library. And I had started this book and then I think I was listening. I think I was reading the ebook from the library, and then it got returned before I could finish it. And so I think I came across this either at a library book sale or somewhere really, really cheap. And so I was like, I'm just going to get a copy. And I do want to read this. I really like Fiona Davis. I like how she makes place almost like a character in her novels. And I have read The Address by her and The Dollhouse. And I feel like I've read something else. What else has she written? Oh, The Masterpiece. I haven't read The Chelsea Girls. I think that one I also need to read, but I think I'm going to keep this one. Yeah, because I definitely want to read it. I need to go back to the beginning and start it over because I don't remember it because it's been so very long. And then below that, I have Ken Follett's The Evening and the Morning, which is the prequel to The Pillars of the Earth. And I really am going to read this someday. It's just, again, another chunky book. And so, you know, sometimes I'm just not as drawn. It's funny because I'm often drawn to big chunky books in the summertime. I don't know if it's because summer days just feel long and leisurely and I want to like immerse myself in a, you know, kind of more epic world. But so we'll see. Maybe The Luminaries, maybe The Evening and the Morning, but something for the summer. And then next up, I have two Aunt Dimity books. I have Aunt Dimity and the Duke and Aunt Dimity's Christmas, which I'm definitely going to read, so I'm not getting rid of those. And then I have some Kate Atkinson books. I'm Behind the Scenes at the Museum, which I can't believe I've never read. I think this is her first book, and I haven't read it. I've read all of the Jackson Brodie, except for Started Early, Took My Dog, because for some reason I skipped that one. And then I also have transcriptions. So I definitely want to read all three of these because I really like Kate Atkinson. She is a great writer. And then, I'm not sure. I've had both of these Frederik Backman books on my shelf for so long. I can't even tell you when I got, my grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry, or anxious people for that matter. I mean, I loved A Man Called Uwe. I really did. But I'm just never drawn to pick these two up. And again, these are books I can definitely get from the library. What do you think? Let me know. Should I keep either of these? Both of them? Neither of them? Jen, you can get them from the library? Are they good on audio? Should I get the audiobooks instead? Let me know. Setting these aside. And then this was a random book I picked up because I kept seeing this in my local library branch's little library bookstore. They just have a tiny little room that has books in it. And this book I kept seeing in there for months. And I thought, sorry, my ring light is glaring on the cover of this. I was just so intrigued by the cover. And it takes place in 1919 in Russia during the Russian Revolution. And it's about Prince Dmitri and his family who flee for their lives to Switzerland. And then the Second World War comes. I just think it's going to be like a sweeping epic novel kind of a thing. Again, another chunky kind of book, but it feels like maybe it might be one that's a pretty quick read. Has anyone read Noel Barber? Anything by Noel Barber? I don't even know if it's Noel or Noel. Does it even say anything about Noel Barber has enchanted millions of readers with his novels. Okay, so it is Noel. Tanamera, A Farewell to France, A Woman of Cairo, and the Other Side of Paradise. Now, once again, he's drawn upon his own experience. The author lived for many years in Paris as a leading foreign correspondent to produce a superbly compelling and authentic story. Yeah, I'm still just drawn to this. I don't know why. The cover sucked me in. When was this written? This was published in 1988. Yeah, this could just be like one of those backlist books that nobody talks about that could be a real gem, hidden gem. So I'm gonna keep it. Let you guys know. Again, maybe another summer read. Gosh, I have way too many big books on my summer reading list. Okay, I have The Aviator's Wife, which I also did during a try chapter, and I was definitely drawn into the first chapter, so I'm keeping this. It's about Charles Lindbergh's wife. And then I have A Queen Lucia and Miss Mapp by E.F. Benson, and this is a recent, I got it for Christmas in 2023. I definitely want to read these. These are staying on the shelf for sure. I definitely want to read the Mapp and Lucia books. I've heard great things about them. Okay, then I have a couple of more Maeve Binchy books. This one's Victoria Line, Central Line, and this one I don't think is that easy to get a hold of. And so I'm going to keep this one. And then I think Firefly Summer might be a standalone. So I'm going to keep this one because I definitely want to read these. I love Maeve Binchy. So yeah, just the Quentins I think I'm going to unhaul. And then I need to read that. Anyone tell me which book to read first in the like little series that the Quentins is a part of? That would be great. Okay, then I have 2 Elizabeth Bowen novels. I have To the North and The Last September. I want to read both of these. These are fairly recent editions. I've had these all, when did I get The Last September? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I've purchased these within the past few years and I want to read Elizabeth Bowen. Anyone know if either of these is a good one to start with? Kind of feel like I want to read this in September, so maybe I'll save it for that month. And then I have The Tuscan Child by Rhys Bowen. I found this in a little free library back in 2019, and I haven't read it. I do like Rhys Bowen, and I've started the Her Royal Spyness series, which I'm enjoying. This is a standalone. I've read another standalone. Oh, I read In Farley Field. Really enjoyed it. It was really kind of good, like historical fiction with a little bit of a mystery in it. It was really interesting. This one is also set like at the end of World War II. But again, I think this is a book I can easily get from the library. I listened to In Farley Field on audio and really enjoyed that. So this might be one that I should just get on audio. Let me know if anyone read this, listened to it on audio. How should I read this one? But yeah, I think this might be an unhaul. Okay. Oh my gosh. Making lots of space here. Okay, next up is Any Human Heart by William Boyd. This was a recommendation from my mom. She read this, really loved it. It's just about a man's life and it kind of takes him all over the world, I think, and starts while he's in school and then looks like it goes through the Second World War and afterwards. Yeah, 1943, 1977. So yeah, it looks like it spans from 1923 or 4. Yeah, 1923 to 1977 or even longer, 1991. Oh gosh, this is a really kind of epic sweeping kind of book, but my mom really enjoyed it. So definitely going to read this one. Then I have another classic. I have Lady Audley's Secret by Mary Elizabeth Braddon, and I definitely want to read this. I just got this not very long ago. Yeah, I got this for my birthday last year, and I love these Oxford World Classics editions. They are so nice to read, and yeah, definitely going to read this one. Hopefully this year, maybe for Victober. And then I have a bunch of the Cat Who mysteries. I am going to both reread and read this series because I've read quite a few of the books in this series, but all out of order. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. These are not like the first 4 books. These are just a bunch of random ones that I came across. So I'm going to start at the beginning. I know I can get some of them on, I can get all of them from my library. And so I'm going to do that. I don't know. I wonder if I can get them on audio. That might be kind of fun. So we'll see, but I definitely want to read through this series. So these are staying on my shelf because I would love to collect this series just because I think it's really fun. And then next up, I have Daughter of Molokai by Alan Brennert. I love Alan Brennert's novels, all set in Hawaii. I've read Molokai. I've read, is it Honolulu? Is that his other one? Yes. So I've read Molokai and Honolulu, and I need to read Daughters of Molokai. And I'm very much looking forward to this. And we're planning to go to Hawaii again this summer. I'm going to take this with me again because I read Honolulu in Hawaii the last time I was there. So that just feels like it needs to happen. So this one for sure staying on my shelf. I'm going to pull these last 4. Next up is Illyrian Spring by Anne Bridge. 100% going to read this. I've heard great things about it. Again, I think this was a Tea or Books podcast made me do it kind of a book, but yes, absolutely going to read that one. And then I have Mrs. Jeffries Takes the Stage, and I'm going to read the Mrs. Jeffries books. This one is, I think, really far into the series. So, and I can't remember, I think someone told me I could just read these out of order, but yes, and I love mysteries set in the theater. So definitely keeping that one. And then I have, which I really don't like this cover, but I have the movie version cover of Possession. I used to have the old, beautiful cover. I'll try and put a picture of it here so you can see what that looks like. This is a book that I've tried to read so many times, but I just feel like I do not want to be daunted by this book. I'm going to read it sometime in my life. I really don't want to be thwarted by this book because I think I'll love it once I get into it. It's pretty dense, her writing style, and so I just have to be in the right frame of mind for it. I would like to find a different edition though, and if I do, I'm going to put this one in a little free library because I'm not a big fan of movie tie-in covers. And then, actually, let me put those 3 back. The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon. Again, I've had this on my shelf since 2019 and I haven't picked it up. I'm not sure I'm going to like it. I'm not sure it's my kind of book, actually. Again, I think this is one I could get a hold of again if I ever really, really wanted to read it, but I just don't know that I do. So I think this might be an unhaul. So this is going in the potential unhaul pile. Okay, and that's, oh wow, look at all that space we made at the end of this shelf. Lovely. Okay, I think I have time to do one more shelf, so let's get to it. I am set up now to go through this, will be the final shelf for this video, and I'll pull the books off so that you can see them. And we're gonna go in reverse alphabetical order just because that's how I have my camera set up. So first up is The Scapegoat by Daphne du Maurier. 100% want to read this, want to read all of Daphne du Maurier's books. And that includes The Doll, which is lost short stories. Keeping both of those. And then next up is My Dear Hamilton. This is a novel of Eliza Schuyler Hamilton by Stephanie Dray and Laura Camoy. I've had this book for a really long time. Again, I got this for Christmas in 2019. My mom gave this to me. I think she read it and really enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to keep it. But convince me to read this one, everybody. I did love Hamilton the musical, so keeping this for now. And then next up is The Inheritance of Loss by Karen Desai. And this is set in the Himalayas. Again, this won the Booker Prize in 2006. I really would like to read this. I love books set in India. And I think I might really enjoy this. Has anyone read this? Can you tell me? Do you think I'll like this? I'm going to keep this for now, even though I've had it for a really long time. But I need to pull off some more of those books that I've had for years and years. Pre-pandemic books, I need to pull all those off my shelf so I get to them sooner rather than later. This is a stack of Dickens books I need to read. And my cute little, I'm an October baby. This is actually just like a little candle holder. You're supposed to like put it on top of your cake. And then you put your little candle in the thing so you can blow out a candle on your birthday. My parents gave this to me for my birthday one year and it just sits here because it's so adorable. But I have Little Dorrit, Hard Times, Bleak House, and David Copperfield. And you know it is my goal to read more Dickens. So of course I am keeping all of those. And then next up I have Around the World with Auntie Mame. Do any of you guys remember? I can't remember if I did it in a video here or if I just shared it on my Instagram, that I had a book that I thought was this book. The dust jacket was this book and the book underneath was not this book. I had gotten it at Half Price Books, I think, and somebody had put the dust jacket on the wrong book. and I was very, very disappointed. So I ordered myself a copy. We are reading Auntie Mame in July for the Cozy Reader Book Club. I love the movie Auntie Mame, and so I have high hopes for the book, and I have a feeling I'm going to want to read the sequel after I read the first one. So that's why I grabbed this, and love this cover too. So great. Auntie Mame is just a fantastic character. So keeping this one. The Dower House by Annabelle Davis Goff. Again, this is another book I think I bought on the half price clearance cart for probably $1. And this is, I believe, set in Ireland. Then it heads to London, and like, I really want to read this. I don't know, something about it just draws me in, and I love this cover. And has anyone read this? I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about this book, and I'm so curious. I'm keeping this one because I can't let it go for some reason. I can't let it go. Next up are two books by Tia Cooper, and that is The Girl in the Painting and The Fossil Hunter. And I have some Australian friends on Instagram who love Tia Cooper, or Tia Cooper, not sure which it is. And so I think I found these on Book Outlet and had to get them. And they are set in Australia, and they are historical fiction. Looks like this one is set in 1906. This one starts in 1880. And then I think there's a little bit, this one has, I think, a little bit dual timeline. But yes, so I always want to read Australian books in the summertime. So these might have to go on the summer TBR. And then next up is a trilogy. We're going to call this Melissa Made Me Do It. So my friend Melissa, who's at a Duchess Inside on Instagram, she recommended this series to me when we did our bookish chat. And I'd already purchased the first book in the series from her recommendation when she first read it. And then she convinced me that I should just go ahead and get books 2 and 3 so I can read the whole series, which I might want to binge once I start it. And that is A Brief History of Montmoray. This is by Michelle Cooper. This is the Montmoray Journals, book 1. So it's all written in journal format. Book 2 is The Fitzosbornes in Exile. And then book 3 is The Fitzosbornes at War. Very much looking forward to reading this trilogy. So thank you, Melissa. Need to get to this one sooner rather than later, I think. Because I have a feeling I'm gonna love it. Okay, and then next I have Our Spoons Came from Woolworth by Barbara Commons. I really, really want to read this. I've heard great things about Barbara Commons, and I think I'm going to really like her writing. So keeping that one. And then next, I bought these two. I'm really not sure this is an author I'm even going to enjoy, but Simon from the Tier Books podcast. Lots of shout outs to the Tier Book podcast in this episode. But Simon talks a lot about Ivy Compton Burnett, and I found these two lovely Penguin editions in a secondhand bookstore near my house. And so I bought A God and His Gifts and A Family and a Fortune. And I don't have any idea if I'm gonna like Ivy Compton Burnett. I have heard that she's not the easiest or lightest read, but we shall see. If Simon, if you're watching this, should I start with one of these in particular? Or what do you think? Or has anyone else read Ivy Compton Burnett and have thoughts on this? But I just don't want to get rid of them because these penguins are really hard to find here in the US, or at least in California. So I just love the look of them. So keeping those. And then next up, I have The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. I really love The Woman in White, and I've also read No Name, which I really enjoyed, and I 100% want to read The Moonstone, hoping to get to this later this year. This might be one of my 12 pages a day classic that I dive into in the fall. So yes, very excited. I've heard great things about this one. And then next up is a book, and I think I might unhaul this one, and that is Blue Lightning by Anne Cleeves. This is the 4th book in the Shetland series by Anne Cleeves, and even though I do love Anne Cleeves, I've only read, I think I've read the first 2 books in the Shetland series. Maybe I've read the first 3. I don't know. But I really love the TV series of Shetland, and I mean, the books are good. Don't get me wrong. The books are very good. But I just feel like, again, these are books I can get from the library, and I don't have the whole series of these. I've checked the other ones out from the library, I believe. So I think I might unhaul this one because I know I can get it other places. So this is gonna go in the potential unhaul pile. Next up is The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros, and I definitely want to read this one. And, you know, I just feel like this is kind of a classic. It's so short. It's just like little vignettes. And yeah, I think I need to get to this one soon. But I found this one, I'm not sure where. Might have been a library book sale or the library bookstore, but I definitely want to read this. Has anyone else read this one? But I've heard really good things about it. And then I have, actually, these are all Agatha Christie's. I'm not going to get rid of any of these. These are my final Agatha Christie's that I have unread on my shelf. And this is a collection of her writings as Mary Westmacott. So it has A Daughter's a Daughter, and Unfinished Portrait, and The Burden is also in this collection as well. So keeping all of those. And then I have Father Brown, The Essential Tales. I just found this one recently. Again, I think I got it at the library bookstore, and I don't think I've ever seen Father Brown like at a secondhand bookstore before, so I had to grab this one. I do like Father Brown, so very much looking forward to that. And then I think I might unhaul this one. Katherine Center, Everyone is Beautiful. I've enjoyed Katherine Center. I just don't know that, like, you know, that kind of rom-com type of book is where I'm at right now. And I know I can get this from the library if I ever want to read it. So yeah, I've had this one for a while and I haven't picked it up. So I think I'm going to put this in the unhaul pile. Okay, only a few more left to go. The next two I'm definitely keeping. They are two Willa Cather books. I have A Lost Lady, and then I also have Death Comes for the Archbishop, so not getting rid of those. And then next I have a book I've heard nothing but good things about. That's Queenie by Candace Carty-Williams, and so many people have recommended this. I think Miranda Mills has recommended this, and so many other people. I think the Tier Books podcast has read this and recommended it. I have high hopes for this one. Definitely want to get to it. I've had this book since 2020. It needs to get read soon. And then next up, I have A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr. Actually, I want to read this really soon because I feel like it's set maybe like in May or June, I feel like. Can anybody remind me? I think I might set this one aside so that I don't forget about it. It's so short and I think I can read it pretty quickly. So yes, I think I'm going to get to this one. I just got this one not too long ago. I wish this edition was bigger. It's so pretty, but it's very tiny. I mean, I think the print will be okay. I'll definitely need my glasses to read it, but yeah, I wish it was a larger book in general, but that's okay. And then the final book on this shelf is yet another Tier Books podcast made me do it, and that is Little by Edward Carey. And they actually had Edward Carey on in one of their episodes, so it was fun to listen to him talk about his books and his process and everything. Anyway, this is a historical fiction set in 1761. And it's about a little orphan named Marie who's apprenticed to an eccentric wax sculptor. They start an exhibition hall for wax figures. Anyway, they raved about it on Tier Books, and I listen to what they say clearly, and I'm clearly influenced by them. So has anyone read Edward Carey before, aside from Simon and Rachel on Tier Books? Because I'm very curious about this one. It sounds like a really unique premise. I'm looking forward to this. And we did it. We went through 2 1/3 bookshelves today. So that is very exciting. And I have 9 books to potentially unhaul. I'm going to show them to you again one more time. Please let me know in the comments, is there any book in here that you feel very strongly I should not unhaul? Now, these are not books that I'm saying I will never read. They're just books I'm not going to keep on my shelf because I feel like I could get them from the library fairly easily if I do ever want to read them. So, or let me know, yes, Jen, you can unhaul that, but definitely get it from your library at some point. Let me know if it's particularly good on audio, because that's always good for me. I love a good audiobook. Yes, so let's go through the 9 books that I'm planning to unhaul. First is Everyone is Beautiful by Katherine Center. Then we have Blue Lightning by Cleeves. The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon. The Tuscan Child by Rhys Bowen. Anxious People by Frederick Backman. My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Backman. The Library of Legends by Chang. The Windsor Knot by S.J. Bennett. And Quentins by Maeve Binchy. Can I hold them up? There they are. The 9 books I'm going to unhaul from the 2 2¼ bookshelves that I went through with all of you today. So again, be sure to go down in the comments and give me your thoughts on the books I'm unhauling. And also let me know, are there any books that I showed that, Jen, you really need to prioritize those. You have to read them soon. Let me know that too. I'll make a list of all those books so that I can be sure to get to them sooner rather than later. Thank you so much for being here and spending time with me while I go through and shop and unhaul my shelves. It was also good because it did remind me to pull A Month in the Country off of my shelf so that I can get to it sooner rather than later. And I think it's just fun to take a close look at your books, because sometimes I feel like I see them, but I don't see them. I glaze over them. So this was a really good exercise to like really look closely at all the books on my shelf and why are they there? Do I really want them to be there still? You know, are these books I really want to read? So that was really fun, and there will be more parts to this series coming soon. But again, let us chat all things shop and unhaul my bookshelf down in the comments. And if you don't have anything to say, but you would like to let me know that you were here and that you made it this far in the video, why don't you leave me something summary in the comments? A summary emoji, a sun, sunglasses, a beach scene, whatever it is that you think is a summary. Since I talked so much about the epic long books I'm going to read this summer, now I'm feeling in a kind of summery mood. And if you enjoyed this video, if you could hit that like button, likes really do help my channel, and subscribe. Subscribers also really help get my channel out there so that more people can find me and watch my videos. And I really, really appreciate the extra support of you doing that. It only takes a moment, but pressing that like and subscribe button really does matter, and I really, really appreciate it. And as always, I will be back with another video very soon. Bye!